Yeah, I'm Arma. Hey guys, and I am currently in my room trading prop firms. Now let's talk about that. So, prop firms. What are prop firms? Prop firms are these individual companies that lend out evals. They have you pass an evaluation, pass a trading practice account, which you then move into a performance account. Once you move into that performance account, that's when you're able to generate real money, and that means that's means you're getting actual money from Apex, Alpha, Lucid, Alpha, Lucid, all these places. They have money to give out because I just found this out recently that it's because of all the failed evals really that their main business model is made. So yeah, like you're going to spend money and you're not going to make. So right now I'm not profitable, right? I'm spending and I'm passing, but I only passed in about one eval, and it was in my first month, so that was good. But like I've been struggling. Like I'm getting on the computer, I'm like, what the h, like like what the hell, like I start to like change up my strategy, which I came up with a strategy um, that that worked, um, and that looks good on paper, but it's about being consistent. I know that I could make 300, 400, even $500 a month very consistently, but not very like every day. But the thing is, like, I have to be able to have, you know, distraction free, right? So like really you got to be able to trade without thinking of what others are thinking of you. And the other thing is that like you got to be consistent. So when you're trading, just remember that um, it's a long-term game, and that most, if not all, people who are successful, like the most successful traders, have lost money because it's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's part of, just like if you were to be in any profession, it's it's something that there's downsides and good sides, and the downside of being um, in a place where it's literally just buying and selling derivatives. You got to just cut everything, cut all the noise, cut it all out, cut it from, and that'll give you the confidence that you need. Cut all that to get out of the situation, which you're probably, probably, you have the opportunity to, um, you have the opportunity. So the opportunity is definitely there. Prop firms, they do work. I know people that have um, been successful. I know people that in my circle that are successful in it, and I'm just not successful quite yet in terms of getting those payout and being able to, and actually seeing it in my Chase account and all that. But I know that if I keep going, the battle mentally, I have a bit of an advantage. I have a bit of an advantage just because I have tried and been through a lot of hell already. This is not my first venture, so coming into like trading and doing, number one, I don't have 50K to trade my own capital. Otherwise, I would have done that. I would have swing traded, um, and I wouldn't be doing day trading and prop firm. But I don't have 50K in the bank, unfortunately. Um, I could have had that, but I made a lot of, I think, decisions that weren't good. So that ended up changing my trajectory a little bit, but my ability to do that. So right now, I'm at my parents, so it's not like um, I'm in a good spot. Like I think that if you try it'll happen. And I like, if you have people that are going to want to bring you away, then that's kind of like where you need to start really just cutting all that, right? Cut the noise, cut all that, cut it all, from your existence, because the truth is, yes, 20%, you know, get into some sort of profit. And the thing about the thing about this is consistent. It's the thing about it's people will try to bring you away, right, from what you're looking to, but that's because they are part of your previous your previous understanding of what is real. And so like when you're changing kind of like what's possible, and it's true, like prop firm, if you look it up, even like, I'd say 1%. So take the 1% of the world who actually makes over a quarter of, why would you get into prop firms and just like make a salary, right? Like you might as well work a job, you might as well have a community. I mean, I think most people who are in this field probably are looking to make 40K a month. That's like what people are looking, because you don't just you copy trade, right? Like you cut all that, right? You cut all that out of your, and you copy trade, right? You copy trade these accounts, right? And then it's 20, you get 50 accounts or 20 accounts, and you can get more than that with trade sync and all that. But yeah, you trade prop first. It's like, it's fake money, it's simulation, just so you can prove, and then you get into a simulation where it's, they'll pay you out for that. Now the reason I think that they're able to do that is because eventually they want to move you into trading their actual firm. I think that so they do actually have, like a firm that has real money, and that if you're passing, if you're an actual good trader, meaning you're doing consistently, you're getting payouts, like, yeah, why wouldn't you hire that person as an independent to trade your capital? Now then you're literally just, you're making money, because if a trader makes 5K, right, because that's like the goal on these 50K accounts, you want to make 5K. That's the goal, to pay yourself and get it from this company. And yeah, all the failed attempts, that's what's paying for your payout. People are trying, and like me, and like are failing, and that's giving the company money. And it's kind of like a circle of like trust, a circle of like, that's how it works. And yeah, so yeah, just keep going. I'd say, don't give up. I think my mentality is already in the first, already like kind of wanting to get out of it, and try, but that was my head start, that was my like reason. That's why I have a bit of an advantage, because my life, I've changed things up, right? So if you see, I mean, I have like a shirt brand, I've done events, and I've done stuff where it's like we've made revenue, and it's been like a, great experience and all that, but like it never ended up like, putting money directly, putting money into my pocket. That was like, it was like, you have to pay taxes, you have to do a lot of stuff, that I realized that starting a profitable business it's way more like, it's I went to school for entrepreneurship, right? And it's not what you think, right? It's way more glorified. I mean, everyone's different. People have different tolerances, and I don't know, coming into it from parents who were teachers, like, come on, like, that makes it, that was hard for me. So yeah, now I'm trading, like, I'm trading. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff personally that I have to get a hold of, and yeah, I think that, I'll check back in, but I'll post kind of like I'll post my screen so that you could see the kind of like, you could see the money that I put into this, and the money I passed one, and yeah, I passed one, and kind of just like really trying to cut out the noise, really trying to what I'm trying to do is right now what I'm trying to do is pass an exam and get to that point, because I know that now I have the mentality and skills that I've built to make $400, $500, $600 a day, and then just take it slower. Because if I'm in a live account or like a performance account, I'm only trading Apex at the moment. I think like people do Alpha, and I'm not going to switch it up unless I'm forced to, right? The biggest thing I've learned as an entrepreneur or whatever, a business owner, is that the people that make it don't give up, and I have learned that switching. I've learned that my mistake has always been that I switched my strategy. I switched my career. I switched my job. I quit when things got tough. I quit because I was sensitive maybe to certain things, right? Like, this is kind of like what has overall, I would say, left me completely discontent with life. I'm a smart guy, right? I got a bachelor's degree. I went to a really good school. I just took out a bunch of loans, to do all that. And it's like, you just work, right? You got to work, kind of understand what it means to make. And yeah, I'd say I'm sure that a lot of people who trade, I guess, probably have some sort of disability or some sort of like there's something that's just not, because it's different. It's like you're literally buying and just clicking buttons. It's not like you're cooking something or something. But if you when you zoom out, it's all the same. Like, people have different ways to make money, and people have different ways to serve. And if you have some form of way of what you want to do, and I think that's my thing, is that I'm planning on doing something with the money to eventually, actually, I do want to start a cafe. Like, I want to do things that are a little bit more grounded and I guess reality and all that. So yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to talk myself into getting some better health, getting some better ideas of what it means to be 20 something, and then like 28, and like get out into my own house, my own career, my own apartment, a house, a car, and just like get out, and then that's kind of like why I trade. Why I do this, because I'm so eager to be on my own, and like I have an apartment, and like be able to experience the world as I experience it, not as my parents experience, not as my mom, not as my dad, right? Like, not as any of like my siblings, or any of the people that I used to grow up with, who kind of like paid for, like, they had like an experience, and you were kind of just like a byproduct of that. And I totally get why you want to make things happen now, and why you want to pass that eval like as soon as you can, which is, it's all possible. And like, man, like, I mean, if you're working, let's say you're working your landscape, let's say you're a coffee shop, let's say you're something like, I don't know, like sales, I don't know, anything, as long as you have some money, like, just keep going, and it's $2,000. I think if I've already spent probably about roughly $1,000 on some of these accounts, and I've blown all of them, and it's starting to get to that point where I need to take, like, okay, like today I was just clicking, and I was like totally getting out of my like strategy. But I guess I'm still making my strategy, right? I'm still learning what it means to be a trader. I'm still learning what it means to be consistent, because you'll make $500, whatever you make in 2 seconds, So it's like, now what do you do, with your day? Like, there's this feeling of like, I got to do more. And I think that's what I'm struggling, is like, I've made well over 3,000 across multiple evaluations. So it's like okay, then I want more because I know that one evaluation needs to get 3,000, and then that's when I can start being in the runnings. Let's call it for a real actual payout. So when I cut all that noise out, cut it all out, right? You get to the point where you're like, okay, I can do this. As long as I continue to trade and have a day maybe that's set up of like, okay, once I make 600, once I make $600, I'm gonna shut the laptop. I'm gonna go to, I don't know. I'm figuring that I'm figuring that part out because I don't know what to do with my day. You could go walk the dog. I don't know. You can go out. The thing is, like, if I had money in my account, like, I'm literally starting from zero. So I think it'd be way better to have anyone. Would be way better to have 4 or 5K. Right. Also, if you didn't go to college, you're probably better off with this just because you don't need to go to college. Just click a bunch of buttons and start day trading, doing like that. I have student loans, so like I have a lot of like mental and even like physical and actual like financial like things that have been weighing me down. They make me want to rush and they make me want to like get out of the situation like in a day, right? It's just so it's unrealistic. It's immature, right? That's what kind of like the guy Powell Trades. That's who I watch, and I'm kind of just sticking to him. I resonate with his journey. I resonate with his person, and like I think that if I just continue, basically what's going to happen is that after all that is done, then I cut all that, then what's going to happen is that you're going to get good, right? That's how it works. You just get it into you just start over, you got to do what you got to do, and you don't listen, you just cut all of that, cut those cords, right? Cut all that and get into your mindset of like, I got this, right? And make the money, leave for the day. Make the money, leave for the day. Anything, even in trading, is compound, right? So make $4,000, whatever your tolerance is. Like when you're starting out, to make consistently 4K a day, like you're a god, right? Like that's crazy. Like, but if you're starting out and you're making 200 and you're like $400, I mean that's so, that's like 2 clicks, so it's possible to do that consistently. And I think that's why it's like, even if it does take 30 days to pass an evaluation, that shows that you're a better trader than 98%, and probably that you'll do good. But if you're trying to pass in one day, I mean, just starting when you don't know what to do, I mean, I'm sure the pros will make $3,000 in a day very, 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 like, very easily. Like, it's not that hard, so they can pass evaluations very quick. But when you're starting, for you to make $3,000 in a day, it's actually hard. So, just keep trying, I guess. And if you end up spending, I know Paolo said that he spent like 5 figures on this, right? Like 10,000, all that. Like with Era of Energy, my brand, you can buy and check it out in the description. Check it out. Like it's really cool. It's shirts, it's scarves. It's like that I spent over $15,000 on, right? So I put it on credit, I did everything I could to build that what it was, and it's still going, right? And I want you guys to go check it out, Era of Energy. Really cool, and still gonna do it, right? We're still gonna have brands, we're gonna have events, stuff like that, and like it's cool. It's a really good community. The look is dope, and yeah, like affordable, accessible, right? Like I've put a lot of work and learned and put a lot of effort into making Era of Energy be a good brand. Like it starts out with that rushing mentality, and it starts out with that like I gotta have it all. And if it has a big why behind it, if it has something that you're doing it that's for yourself, but for something like bigger, like I'm gonna say God, or no, and if something bigger, then yeah, then like yeah, like you're going to keep going, and it's just like the world is like a video, like it just like switches or like you upgrade, right? And the only way that you upgrade, if you play video games or if you level up, right, like is playing the game and keep going. But you have to face all these parts that your brain is a computer. So if your brain is storing like negative neural pathways for whatever reason that maybe develop young, like it takes that's hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like for me, I'm 28 and I can't tell you how hard life feels, and yet I've come up with such like I live in a good neighborhood, I live in a good situation, like I've had people take care of things for me, right? Like, but yet I still felt depressed, anxious, bad, right? Like couldn't go out in the world, couldn't be out in public, like, and it's it's hard. It really is. It's and no matter who you are or who you come from, like mental is hard. Things that happen that were out of your control when you were maybe when you were in college and stuff like that. And then like yeah, like for me, it's just been all kinds of health stuff and like it's not easy to be out in the world because the world it's not that it's out to get you, it's just that if you have or even look a certain way, or if you are, like I said, you're unhealed, you have things going on, you're traumatized, like there's just a lot that goes on. Like people are, they're just people. If they're not paying for you, don't give a fuck, right? If they don't add to your life, fuck those people. Just fuck them, like fuck them, fuck those people. Like they're just judging. They're just there to like bring you down. If they're like, oh, I'm gonna help you. Hi, sir. How are you? I want to help what you're doing, and I see that you need help because that's someone that you say, okay, I welcome in. You listen to them. You say, hey, what can I do to be better? What can I do? But like people who are just literally majority of people are just not. It's not that they're out to get you. It's just, they don't mean there's nothing for you there. Just keep doing what you're doing and let those be the result of like again 48 to 50 there's like 80% of traders who even try. Again, there's a reason why 1% of the world is 1% of the world, even 5%, 10%, even 50, whatever bracket you're looking to be a part of, and you're starting from a like a lower tax bracket, then you're gonna be weird. You're gonna be looked weird. You're gonna be judged. That is how. That is how this works. You have the brain of someone that is of a higher degree, but you're in like a middle. It's just it's by nature that you're gonna be judged and you're gonna be looked down upon. It's a hard job to do because it feels real. Like people are part of this game. People are your brain and how it connects. It's part of it. So like when you start to feel right, if you're like me and you got this like sensitive like sensitive thing going on, like there might be something that I discover about myself that's like that's like, oh, I see why that was, and then it's just a health thing. You just get the right medication or stuff. But I'm working on that. That's my block, is that like switching things up, because really you try one thing, right, and just pick a career and just do it, and yeah. But yeah.